Hello! So in this one I would like to start making a scene. The very first thing I'm going to do for this is I'm going to go onto front view, raise this cube up, scale it every direction except Z by using Shift Z, and then if I check here, you'll notice that the Z height is now 2 meters. So this is going to act as my, I'm going to select these two, delete them. This is going to act for me to know how high 2 meters is at all times. I'm going to make it a little bit thinner without changing the height. So I'm going to say that the average person is 2 meters. It's actually not, slightly smaller than that, but around 2 meters allows me to get a good idea of how tall a person is. Next up, I'm going to go add mesh plane, and I'm going to make it as wide as I want it, which I think is about to there. Actually, I'm going to go a little bit wider than that, and I go about to say here, and then I'm going to elongate it up. I'm going to move it up to about here. Perfect. So this is going to be a sort of road. Next up, I think I want a building on this side here, so I'm going to just do that. I'm going to raise it up. And then I'm just going to select this one, move it along here, hit the Y to lock it to the Y axis. Let's go to about here. And then I don't actually really need to bring it out that way, but I'm going to anyway, just for hell. Next up, I'm going to duplicate this. I want this on the other side. But this one I want to be a little longer. Go to about here. And add a loop cut. And then start extending this bit out here as well. Now disappear off camera. Then on this piece, we've already obviously got a lot of the stuff that we need here. But I'm going to just extend this bit slightly into the wall. And I'm going to add a loop cut in. So that I can extend this one out sideways. Perfect. Now the idea is I think I'm going to put the camera so that I'm looking along here. Like so. But I feel like I want to be a little bit further back than that. So I'm actually going to bring all of these slightly along on the y-axis, just like so. So I'm looking along like that. But I still think I'm actually going to make this road a little wider. There we go. And I probably also want to go and move this one along further. So select it just to make sure that it extends out of view. Perfect. So that's a basic mapping that we've got here. And I probably want a way of turning off this road, so I'm actually going to add in a loop cut here. Delete these faces like so, and the bottom one. And select this one, close it up, close it up. Also going to select this whole thing, separate it, add another loop cut on here. And I'm going to extend these ones out on the X, just so that there is also another way out on this road, so wherever I position, I can sort of see that there are two directions off. Stuff I need to think about, sort of a pavement style area. So if I quickly separate off where I want the pavement to be. If we say like that, maybe if I bring this one over, it's not a large pavement, but just a pavement. And I will take these ones. Oh, I also want a pavement on this side. Now I'll take all the ones in the middle and extrude down just a little. Brilliant. I'm going to delete the faces on the edges just because they're not necessary. Oh, I seem to have gone slightly down a little off a bit. So I'm going to extrude it just downwards. Good. Brilliant. So now we have a slight pavementy style area. And how much can I see of this wall? So I can see a fair bit of this. So let's bring this up. Maybe a little higher than this. Put in a loop cut. Check the height in order to ensure that. So this is 2 meters. And then slightly above 2 meters. And I'm going to extrude this just out a little. Just so I'm sort of creating some slightly more interesting stuff. Now I should probably have a way of supporting this, so let's twist this by, actually we'll make it very thin first. Twist it by 45 degrees. So, I can also double select that, double tap G just to move it like so. And then if I move the whole thing down to here, I can select array in the modifiers. Obviously I don't want it to go that way. I want it to go on the y-axis, so let's put 1. But then I want it a little bit more than that, so let's say, yeah, about there. That's good. And I can extend that out as long as I want. And that goes up to a decent amount. Brilliant. So now this has some support. And just to make sure that this is still coming along. Fine. Yeah, that's fine. So what I was making sure there is that there's a 2 meter thing, and that isn't going to be something that people walking along would literally hit their head. 2 meters is quite tall, so that's fine. And we can't see much of this wall, so I won't make too much of a thing. What I might do is just add a roof to this. So if I go plane, I'll rotate this one by not quite the whole amount. Split this bit over. I can just pull this up like that. And then if I solidify it, I can bring it down. There we go, we got that bit with the roof. And I can also select these parts. What should I do with this long building up here? What should I do with it? Maybe if I go like this, add 2 in, like that. Select this in a bit here, extrude it inwards. So the bottom face, delete, 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 delete that. And then I need to add in a loop cut here and here, just to combine these up. And then, oh, I want to merge them. So then I look for merge vertices, not separate, merge. Merge vertices, center. Merge vertices, center. That way I can just tap that one half and done. Now I'm obviously going to need to extend this bit of the wall here, so I'm just going to add in 2 loop cuts. Because of the flatness of that bottom plane, I don't need to worry too much about. Okay. There we go, so we've got something slightly more interesting going on there. But I feel like it should still be a little bit taller. So that's like 2 stories, maybe not quite 2 stories, maybe bring it up a little bit. Doesn't matter how far back it goes, but yeah, that looks good. Maybe if I add a let's get it down a bit. So that's about what you'd put for that. Good. Perfect. And if I go for array modifier, I'll probably want to position this a bit nicer into the corner. And I can increase the count. As you can see, it's gone not quite into the corner, so if I just move it all over a little, and then I should be able to just duplicate this, move it over to match, and this time I need to decrease number, and again to here. Oh, I actually need it to match up, so something more like this. And again, this time I want to change this to 0 and put the Y to minus 2.5, and obviously drop the countdown by a lot. One on this side and one on this side, just adding those up. Perfect. Now I can add an extra cube. Actually, if I delete that one, rather than add an extra cube, I can duplicate this one, separate it, remove the array, go into wireframe, because this way it'll be the same width and height. Scale it out a little bit on the Y, just so it's a little bit thicker. And then scale it across on the X. What I'm doing here is just roughly matching it up, because it doesn't need to be perfect, because the real world isn't perfect. And it doesn't need to be perfect at all, because it's in the distance, and I'm probably going to shroud most of this. Like, very little of this is going to be easily spotted. It's just going to create nice shadows, which is why I've gone for fairly a low poly idea. There we go, so there's like a sort of a banister area now. Now if I quickly extend this out a little, and then what I could do is bring this over, double tap G, and then bring it up behind. So then we've got sort of two layers to this building. Oh, if I could deselect this one, bring it up only. There we go. Can't see any sky there now. But I can add in a quick sun and have that shine in, say, from this direction. And that creates a shrouded area over there, which is where I might place a character. Obviously I could switch to cycles to get a slightly different lighting. And now you can really see some depth up here now, because you've got one side that's much more lit up than the other. That could work quite nicely. But here is our base mapped out scene. If you join me for the next episode, what we'll do is when I'll turn this scene that we've got here into something a lot more filled in and built up. So thank you very much for watching, and hit like and subscribe if you'd like to see the future episodes. And I hope you have a wonderful evening.